Major breaking news. This is absolutely huge. The prosecutor who resigned recently from the Trump criminal probe now says that Trump is guilty of numerous felonies beyond a reasonable doubt. This is not I'm going to pat myself on the back story, but it sort of is, in the sense that when we learned that these prosecutors resigned from the Trump probe, right-wingers everywhere were saying they resigned because they realized it was a witch hunt. And at the time I said, there's no evidence of that. And if we want to speculate, it seems more plausible to me that the prosecutors investigating Trump resigned because they realized there's not actually any willingness to charge the guy, and they found wrongdoing. That is exactly what one of the prosecutors now says. This story cannot be understated in its importance. Former Manhattan prosecutor believed Trump was guilty of numerous felonies. One of the prosecutors who had been leading the Manhattan District Attorney's investigation into former President Trump and the Trump Organization said in his resignation letter that he believed Trump was, quote, guilty of numerous felony violations, per the New York Times. His financial statements were false, and he has a long history of fabricating information relating to his personal finances, lying about his assets to banks, the national media, counterparties, and many others, including the American people. This is Mark Pomerantz, who wrote this in his resignation letter. The team that has been investigating Trump harbors no doubt about whether he committed crimes. He did. I and others have advised you that we have evidence sufficient to establish Trump's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and we believe that the prosecution would prevail if charges were brought and the matter were tried to an impartial jury. No case is perfect. Whatever the risks of bringing the case may be, I am convinced that a failure to prosecute will pose much greater risks in terms of public confidence in the fair administration of justice. This is one of the biggest stories around presidential wrongdoing and criminality in decades, and the right is ignoring it. Pomerantz also expressed his concerns that not proceeding would doom future efforts at prosecuting Trump in related cases. Guys, I hate to be, I know it sounds like I'm patting myself on the back, but they were just so wrong. And my speculation turned out to be not just pointing in the right direction. It is exactly what Pomerantz is saying took place. This is exactly what he says is going on. We suspected there is serious hesitation from DAs to be the first to prosecute a former president. My prediction was if one prosecution went forward, then a whole bunch of others would. But who wants to be the first? Because admittedly, this is politically unstable ground, and it is historically unstable ground, and it's a big deal to charge a former president. I get that. But my sense was that these investigators were resigning not because there was no evidence and they were being forced to put together a case against Trump, but my instinct was they're resigning because they are realizing their work is going to be put in the toilet and flushed 10 to 15 times, as Donald Trump likes to say. They were finding wrongdoing. And these are extraordinarily strong words. Guilt beyond a reasonable doubt that we would be able to clearly establish in front of a jury of the commission of multiple felonies. When did we last hear prosecutors speak that way about the actions of a sitting or former sitting president? It is arguably unprecedented. And they realize my boss isn't going to charge Trump. He's not going to do it. So what the hell am I doing here doing this work? What we do know is they are hesitant about charging Trump. And that I understand that. But we now know the real reason why they resigned. And it is exactly what I suspected was going on. If there is a miscarriage of justice here, it's that Trump has not been charged. I want to hear from you. Find me on Twitter at @dpackman. Let me know your thoughts. One of our sponsors is Athletic Greens, which makes comprehensive daily nutrition really simple. People are busy. We're not always getting effective, balanced nutrition from the food we eat. We sometimes are combining all sorts of different vitamins, supplements, different things that may be relevant to us. AG1 by Athletic Greens is a delicious drink that just simplifies the entire thing. It's one product. You get all of the things you need, 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients. It's a multivitamin, it's a multi-mineral, it's a probiotic, green food blend in one daily serving. Really easy, high quality, bioavailable ingredients can fill those nutritional gaps in your diet, and they can help with gut health and digestion and support you in other ways. And they can replace multiple products and pills that you might be taking. It's just one drink, really simple. I've been enjoying the AG1 drink by Athletic Greens. Tastes good, helps me get everything I'm trying to get. Athletic Greens is giving my audience a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase when you go to athleticgreens.com/Pacman. The link is in the podcast notes.